And now it's time to hear from the person, Barry Vesser, who was the grand architect of this whole event today. From the design of the theme, to the panels, to the gifts for the speakers, to the sponsors, to everything you ate, everything you drank. Barry, working with the local government commission, what an incredible team, but just every single part. And he started this with you in mind about a year ago. And so if you felt an embrace, and if you felt cared for, and if you felt excited today, this was Barry. And I hope you will give him another round of applause.
Shucks. Okay, so one of the major themes today has been about community. And just like organizing a community choice program, putting together a symposium requires a community of folks. And I've got to tell you, there are way more people to thank than I have time for. However, I would like to acknowledge a few people who worked hard on this event. First, I would like to acknowledge our partners, both Local Government Commission and Local Government and Sustainable Energy Coalition. And I specifically would like to acknowledge Jenny Welch, Alicia Brown, Margaret Bruce, and Michelle Warren. This is a team of consummate program development and event logistics professionals who were a pleasure to work with. Let's give them a round of applause. And how about that hotel staff? They have been there every moment today, and they were great in the days leading up to this event. I'm very grateful to the Hyatt Regency for the support they have given us. I would like to ask the Center for Climate Protection board and staff to stand. And volunteers, if you're not standing, please stand up. And the staff of Local Government Commission and Local Government Sustainable Energy Coalition, please rise. Thank you all. And how about, stay standing, please, stay standing. And how about the moderators and speakers that spoke today, if you would stand. And last but not least, our sponsors and promotional partners who made this event possible, particularly Calpine Energy Solutions, Sonoma Clean Power, Shell Energy North America, the County of Los Angeles, the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, and EES Consulting. Could you all stand, please? Thank you. That's what it takes, a group that big. So we'll be sending you out a quick survey via email to evaluate how we did today. Please fill that out. We read these. I read these. And we use these to decide and inform what we will do next year with the symposium. And suggest things. Tell us how we could bring this content to you in a way that's more compelling, or things we missed. And the symposium will continue online. Please do not miss Clean Power Exchange's first webinar, hosted by my colleague, Woody Hastings. Woody, are you here? The man. Mark your calendars, Thursday, June 29th at 12 p.m. Ben Foster of Fostera Energy Consulting will present our new study on the economic impact of local renewable power procured by community choice using San Joaquin Valley as a case study. And CPX is going to be doing a series of webinars on critical issues and opportunities facing community choice programs to keep you informed between symposiums. So, that's the end of the commercial. We have discussed and debated many things of import to community choice movement today. I hope that you're taking home a few gems to share with your community. And I want to acknowledge that some of the things we have discussed today are ambitious. They're challenging. They will require hard work and new ways of thinking and doing business. It was President John F. Kennedy who said, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." With what is going down in the White House in terms of energy policy these days, which I can only describe as 1950s redux and the purest of folly, it is clear that someone needs to show Washington a picture of a viable future. Politics at the national level is broken. We need the ingenuity that actually did make this country great, the prow of our policy, pushing boldly into the future with new ideas that support innovation, a robust economy, and democracy. I look to local communities where politics is mostly not stymied in bipartisan bickering to keep these kinds of initiatives alive now. And community choice is arguably one of the most interesting of these initiatives in the country. If the election taught us anything, it is that people want solutions that create jobs, have broad benefits, and save money. If we can do this while reducing greenhouse gas emissions, most people will be fine with that. And as Senator De Leon exhorted us, California needs to keep proving the model that the economy and the environment are on the same critical path, a message that at some point the rest of this country will be hungry for. We do this work because it is hard and necessary. Dana Royer, a paleoclimatologist with Wesleyan University, released a new research study with some colleagues that found if carbon emissions continue on their current trajectory, by mid-century, the atmosphere could reach a state unseen in 50 million years. So Homo sapiens have been around under 3 million years. That's a long time. Back then, temperatures were up to 18 degrees Fahrenheit warmer. Ice was almost nowhere to be seen on the planet, and oceans were dramatically higher than they are now. Back then, palms and crocodiles inhabited the Canadian Arctic. If that case seems too far off in the future to really get our attention, Ian Howitt, a glaciologist at Ohio State University, said of the West Antarctic ice sheet, "It is generally accepted that it is no longer a question of whether the West Antarctic ice sheet will melt. It is a question of when." It is also agreed among the majority of climate scientists that the collapse of this ice sheet will lead to about 10 feet of sea level rise. That would be catastrophic. And there are sadly already signs that it is moving in this direction. So one of my great sheroes, political commentator and journalist and activist, Molly Ivan's first rule of holes is, when you find yourself in one, stop digging. This means pursuing community choice, distributed energy resources, and every other policy approach that will reduce emissions significantly. And as President Picker and Jeff Seifers reminded us today, we need to use CCAs as a platform to get carbon out of the natural gas sector and transportation. We need to do this to buy time to figure out how we are actually going to remove carbon in significant quantities from the atmosphere. Sounds daunting. Is it doable? There are plenty of bright spots in this time of uncertainty. First one was so well articulated by Senator De Leon, I'm not going to say anything about it. It's California's clean energy economy example. You probably have heard that the Kentucky Coal Mining Museum in Benham is installing rooftop solar because it saves money. You might not have heard, in eastern Kentucky, a coal mining company plans to build a huge 50 to 100 megawatt solar farm on 2 mountaintop removal sites. So much for bringing back coal. The U.S. solar industry currently employs more than 260,000 workers nationwide, according to the Solar Foundation. That's more workers than Apple, Google, and Facebook combined. These are clear signs that the times, they are a-changin', and the people in this room are on the right side of history, and perhaps more importantly, on the right side of our economic future. But playing it safe will not do. It will shortchange our communities and not deliver the hopeful message that the world so desperately needs. I believe that having hope is a choice, and it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy if backed up by hard work and good strategy. So yes, we face some significant challenges as a movement: regulatory burdens, constant legislative initiative aimed at undermining our viability, a dynamic political environment and market. The outcome is uncertain, but I believe that hard work, creativity, strategic partnerships with businesses to help us overcome technical challenges and open new markets, and civic groups to add that extra muscle when we need it for legislative victories, we will get there. We are growing in strength and numbers, so now is not the time to slow down. So earlier today, we honored the early CCA heroes. I'd like to take a moment to honor the current CCA heroes. So take a look around. The people in this room who are working day in and day out, whether they're working for a CCA, a community, they're an activist, they're on a city council, they work for a business, you are the heroes, often without the praise you deserve. And so I would like you to give yourselves a round of applause for showing up and being willing. And thank you so much for coming.